process, you're going to have glue beads. So grab a scraper and knock off as many of those as you can. Next step, we need to get this flat two sides. And how you do that is going to depend on your shop. Here, I've got a CNC machine, I've got a planer, I've got a drum sander. Those are all good choices. I've got a slab flattening mill that uses a handheld router. Those are all good choices for getting this flat. We need these two surfaces, front and back, to be dead flat, because after the next step, these become glue surfaces. Right now, this is so kittywampus and highs and lows that there's no way we could do an effective glue up from this. So the reason I'm doing this is glue is very hard. And if you leave those glue beads on there and just send that through a planer with steel knives, you're probably going to chip your knives. So it's better to knock the glue off both faces before you do the next step. Bottom line out of all of this is clean this up, knock the glue off, then slab mill, planer, drum sander, whatever you need to do to get this perfectly flat, both faces. That gives us something that looks like this. If what you're after is a long grain cutting board, you're done. If I squared off this end, this could be a cutting board right now, we're finished. If we're doing end grain, we have to go to another step. So I want to say again, when you look at this versus this, these faces have to be dead flat because this is going to end up glued to its adjacent piece in just a second. So we clean all that glue off, get it dead flat. Now we're ready to come to the table saw. So the part of the problem and what makes end grain cutting boards expensive is it's an extensive process. We're two-stepping this whole thing because, like I said, if all you were doing, let me reset. If all you were doing was this, at this stage you'd be done. But if you want to be end grain cutting board, we got to go a number of steps further. What's going to happen next is you square off one end and then come to the table saw and start making a bunch of cuts. And then again, remember I said earlier, the width of those pieces controls the width of your rows when you stand the pieces up and start gluing them together. The dimension we cut to here controls the thickness of your final cutting board. Usually I'm doing this cut at about 1.25 inches. I like my cutting boards to end up being about 1 inch or a little more